guys, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. I am super excited today to talk to an amazing designer from Austria. We've connected, well, maybe even like 6 months ago on social media. We talked a bit. We figured we actually share quite a similar story in the back end before the design. So it was really, really interesting to talk to him. So we finally organized this. Gary, welcome to the show.
Hey,
It's really a
Alan.
pleasure to have you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. It's a big honor to be on the show. And I'm super excited to chat about some design and business stuff.
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, you started, as I said, we have a bit of a similar background. You started with engineering after high school in Austria and everything. But what actually made you move from engineering to the design world? But at the beginning, it wasn't really just like logo and branding design, but you started your own apparel brand, right?
Yeah, totally
Oh,
true.
okay. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, so I never really thought about my future. Everything happened after school. I went to high school and then applied for a job as a technical engineer because that was what I learned in school. But in my spare time, I always was like drawing. In school, I was drawing on the desk and everything which came under my pens. Um, the years went by, and yeah, this kind of mindset I heard and saw in this particular frame of the 9 to 5 work, like, oh, hopefully it's Friday soon enough, and on Sunday evening everybody says, oh man, tomorrow like I have to go to work. And I thought, is this really the kind of thing I want to do for the rest of my life? And the answer was quite clear. It was no. And so I remembered back, like, okay, what do I do for like just for fun? What feels good? And so I tried to focus like on the side of my 9 to 5 job to like really dive into more of the skills of designing stuff. And I always loved apparel brands because like I was back in the days skateboarding and stuff like that. So I was fascinated about the whole community around skateboarding, the brands around it, the designs. And this made me like going that direction of just putting up my like hobby brand. And it turned out that it grew organically. And so the switch happened quite like on an organic basis.
Okay. Quite
Yeah.
easily, no?
As I said, it was not a kind of I have to do that, but more of a intrinsic motivation to create designs. It was never for the money. I never expected to build a business out of it. And this what was quite interesting because the more I explored the kind of building an online presence, I came across other entrepreneurs. I started to listening to podcasts, started to read books. This was never on my plate. And this was so interesting to see because I experienced such a kind of education on a basis that I was like in school, but it was like educating for myself and for the future and of what I can do with a creative skill set. And this was pretty cool to watch.
And in 2014, Stroncton was born. Why Stroncton? Is there a story behind the name or?
For sure. So Stroncton was actually built in 2016, but in 2014,
Okay.
this was like the jump of taking this more serious.
Okay.
I created a brand called We Are Awesome Clothing. And
Okay.
the short form was like, because We Are Awesome Clothing, it's quite long, right? So
A bit.
I tried to put it in a shorter form and a shorter version of the name, and this was We Raw Clothing. And I really was like motivated. Went to the trademark certification office, tried to put the trademark and register everything onto this name. And shortly afterwards, I got an email and an official envelope from a law office,
Okay.
which says, yeah, you want to register We Raw, but this is like, that's not good because there's a other brand who uses like a big part of the
Okay.
name.
Okay.
And so I had to cancel this like vision of building my own clothing brand. And it was like really, yeah, at this time, this was like shit. You
Oh,
know, like I invested money into it. I bought like t-shirts, I printed stuff on it. Like I had everything in place, and then some kind of dudes say, you
yeah,
don't do
yeah.
this under
You
this
cannot
name.
do it.
Yeah. So this was in 2016 around, like I think in February 2016 or March. And then I had to like made another plan. So what do I do? Do I want to continue? And the answer was clearly yes, I want to continue. I have like an anchor tattooed on my chest. I have a lighthouse tattooed on my arm. And this is not because I'm kind of a sailor dude or like I like going around with boats or I'm a
Okay.
pirate or something like that. It's more of the symbol and the meaning behind that symbols. Like the anchor is for me like something very strong. Um, it means for me like to stand for your dreams, even there are stormy days.
Yeah.
The lighthouse is more like the vision, even if it's foggy, like keep going, do your thing. And I remember this exactly. I was sitting on my sofa and like with my notebook, and I thought, dude, like this lighthouse, it's like it has so much energy for me, and the anchor as well. Maybe we can combine it. Like then we have a little anchor and lighthouse
Yeah, yeah.
icon. And then the logo itself was born, but I hadn't any name for it. So I really wanted to make sure that there is no like complications with trademark stuff and things like that. So I tried to come up with a figurative name, like a word that doesn't exist.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything.
Mm. So like anchor, strong, stay strong. There are brands out there like Burton or Brixton, Stroncton. Let's change the G with a C. So it's really like unique. And
Yeah,
this
yeah.
was like the name Stroncton is born or was born. And from that time on, 2016 in May, it's like nearly 10 years ago, I go under the name Stroncton.
It's super interesting actually, to see how the name is formed, because usually a lot of designers go by their own name. It's not a brand. It's not a brand name in a sense that it's like, as you said, invented name. So that's quite a cool story. I love that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, you know, I was really like back and forth with kind of should I put my name out there, but like it's the name I have, like the second name like is Geri or Gerald Kriechbaum in German or
yeah,
Austrian,
yeah.
and it's really hard to like pronounce it in English. And I thought, okay, the plan is anyway to, I don't know, it was a gut feeling to come up with a brand name and create a brand around this whole topic of staying strong, do the things you love, believe in yourself, keep going, even if it's foggy and stormy. And so, yeah, it's just the
Oh,
way it went, like very
yeah.
organically.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that story.
Thanks.
How did you move from clothing to branding,
Hmm.
logo design? Was it also organically, or it
Very
was
much
like a
so.
focused decision?
No, because I never went to like a graphic design university or stuff like that. I never did an official graphic design degree or something in this direction. Always self-taught and like really from like an inside out level. Um, I probably was not quite sure if I can do stuff like that for others. So I built just my own. Like when fuck it up, I fuck it up. It's my
Yeah,
own fault.
it's my
And
own.
yeah.
That's true.
So I mean, the past, I think, like Stroncton is now a brand design studio, but that's hardly just like the decision was made about 1 year ago. And it went from 2016 to, I say, 2025, as a clothing brand, like really focused on clothing. But I was always very active on social media, Instagram. Like I really tried to put my face like in front of the camera because, you know, building a clothing brand is not very, or saying to build a clothing brand, it's not very hard to do. I mean, you purchase some blanks, purchase
Okay.
some prints, print it on, and like sell it. And there is so much noise out there, and I think the only way to really stay unique is to show your humanity or the human face and character behind it. So I always did that from like the very first beginning on. And then very organically again, some kind of companies reached out and asked if I can do the same things for them as I do for Stroncton. And at first I said, yeah, sure, like, let's try it.
Yeah,
I
why
did,
not?
yeah, why not? I did like the social media. I created logos. I created like strategies for, yeah, giving all this kind of online marketing a more human side. Um, and like 1 year, 2 years ago, the thought came up more and more to say, okay, this is quite fun because I don't cook only the own soup, but like really work in collaboration with other companies and interesting people. And I love really to connect with people, to talk about like, yeah, stuff that works, but also didn't work or doesn't work. Like, how can we solve that? And so the decision was made. Okay, let's focus more on the brand design studio side. Keep the apparel side still alive. It's like it's the foundation of Stroncton, or always being a part of it. But it really came out of this. Okay, I built my own lifestyle brand for 10 years, and now it's time to really distribute the knowledge and helping others to do the same, probably. And I don't know, I really often go with my gut feeling again, and it really feels right. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Hope
that's
that makes sense in a
no,
way.
it absolutely does. I mean, I love that. As you said at the beginning of this question, well, response, you didn't have a graphic design education, me neither. So, like,
Okay.
nothing. You studied engineering, I studied engineering,
Mm,
but I never worked in engineering. And so, yeah, I mean, it feels definitely like a flow that it's taking. You are making slow changes and slow turns through the time, and that really works. So, well, if you just 10 years of lifestyle brand and clothing and apparel and everything, and so now off to something similar,
mm,
and something, yeah, I mean, but keeping the essence of why you started. So that's really cool.
for sure.
Yeah. how much did you have to learn, and to, how much knowledge did you actually have to absorb through all these years to get where you are now?
Man, I think like it's a day by day learning. And I think there is never a point where you can say, now it's enough. Um, I really think a lot about this thing, but it's just the joy of trying things out and like look what the outcome is, and just to observe it and say, that's pretty cool, let's build on this. Or you say, okay, that's pretty it's not so cool. So you oh, my dog went into
Ah,
the office right now. um
amazing. No worries.
um Again, to the question, like there's a lot to learn, and it's not just the skill of like drawing, but the skill of building an actual business that pays the invoices. A few years ago, I really, I always, and still to this day, it's never about the money. But money is so important to keep everything alive. Like it's oxygen for your life or business. Otherwise, you can't survive. And I got the tip from it's a advertising agency owner, and he said like, Gary, you're too much of an artist and way too less of a businessman. You have to learn doing business. Because back then I was like focusing so much on the wrong things, like just to, I don't know, I hand draw, like I created like this kind of baseball cards,
Okay.
and I did that by hand, like I drew them by hand, and I sell them in my web shop like one on one. It took a lot of time, but like you don't really make money out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But it's the things I think right now, like did a lot of stuff like that really didn't made a lot of money. But it was just things for the community, creating special moments, special um, gadgets or goodies for the community, and they really appreciate the stuff. And now it's more like I built all of this, and now it's the foundation of this is like kind of built. Now I can move on top of that, and have a um, more profitable business side of it. So I hope that answers your question
Yeah, yeah, it
on
does.
terms
It
of
does.
learning.
It does, absolutely, because when you start, I mean, when I started, I had no idea, as you said, about the business side of things. Like, especially when I started, I did everything: accounting, like paperwork, all the possible things. So you had to learn so much. And I mean, even people who, even my guests and who have went to graphic design schools or art schools or whatever, no one teaches you that. They teach you like, okay, you draw, you build your portfolio, you do really good work. But then when you actually want to start the work, you are stuck with all the possible paperwork. And as you said, especially in Europe,
So true.
where there is so
Yeah.
so so much paperwork. I mean, it's when I started my first agency, my first business, 17 years ago, I think. I had to wait 3 months for. I was a freelancer. It's such a weird law. I worked from home, but the work inspection had to come to my home to see my room, my
Yeah,
bedroom.
it's
Like,
crazy.
I mean, it's so crazy. They had to see like if there's like if I'm able to work there, I guess. It was so weird. But then here in Spain, when I registered the business, it was done in like 15 minutes.
Really?
And
Oh, it's
that
crazy.
surprised me so much, but that was such a great experience. And yeah. So
Yeah,
I get,
I mean, it's like personal development, like it's the school of life somehow. If you build your own
absolutely,
business,
absolutely.
I had the conversation with another business owner 2 days ago, and it's like at one day or like right now, you feel like you're here and everything is like, oh, that's so cool, and then all of a sudden, it's like, the fuck is happening? It is like a roller coaster up and down,
Yeah,
but you
absolutely.
learn to, I don't know, like you regulate yourself and stay calm in the like stormiest conditions, and try not to be too hyped when it's a
Yeah.
high. So just
Yeah,
focus on the moment.
we learned that the hard way, I think,
Uh,
because when you start, you have no idea how it works.
uh,
And then when you get to a high point, you are so excited and you have no idea that there's like, you're going down probably the next day with some issue in the business,
yeah.
or I don't know, or even anxiety and depression, and all those things. It can be so mixed, and that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But what I loved what you said about the community, and from the very start, if I'm not wrong, you actually decided that your brand, your business is not going to be just about the money. It will be about sustainability as well. It will be about donating a
Yeah.
certain part of your earnings to community and to. So, what drove you towards that? I mean, not a lot of young people actually even think about those things today. I mean, there is a huge amount of people who do, obviously, and especially in more developed countries. But what drove you to think towards that?
So, I mean, there were a few points in my life where these topics were really present. One of them was like I was with my wife, back then my girlfriend, now wife, 3 months in Southeast Asia, like just backpacking and exploring all the beautiful places there. And, you go through the like jungles and forests and beaches, and like they're so beautiful, and then you like watch closely at some parts of the beaches and you see waste everywhere, like plastic stuff. And this was like, this is crazy. I mean, like my kids should go to Southeast Asia too and like explore the beautiful side of it, and they don't have to like find like a shitload of
Yeah.
waste there. And so, like, you can complain about it and you can say, oh, the others and blah, blah, blah. But I think the only way to change these kind of topics is to act on yourself and do stuff like in a certain way that you want to, like, it's always this like quote, but be the change you want to see in the world somehow. And with comparing or like adding this to the business I tried to build back then, I think this had like probably a little bit more of an impact because I can reach other people. I can talk about it, about sustainability, using like sustainable materials, don't use like plastic bags and all this stuff. This was one point, and the donation part of it was, I always thought like, what can I do different than other clothing brands? Like everyone is sell my t-shirt, sell my t-shirt, buy my t-shirt. I'm selling the
Yeah.
t-shirt, you buy my t-shirt. But where is the differentiation? And I thought, if I can like add this kind of, okay, when you buy a t-shirt from Stroncton, you do at the same time something good for others. Like we just said we for every item we sell, we put €1 into our like box for donations. It's the Stroncton Foundation. It's basically a bank account where we put the money onto it, and if there is a certain amount of money on it, we now like for about 4 years or so, we focus more on mental health organizations, because I also struggled a lot with mental health topics back then. But before, we tried to support like children cancer funds, or there's a cool project in Germany from a big skate shop. It's from Titus. I don't know if you know the brand, or
Yeah.
they run the project Skate 8. So they are building skate parks in like Afghanistan and countries like this, just to give them a better vision, or the feeling of there are people out there who care. And I really wanted to be part of this kind of whole. It doesn't matter if it's Skate 8 or Children Cancer Fund or Butterfly Kids. It just should be like, if you're interacting with Stroncton, you do good. On the one way for the planet, on the other way you help other people who have like probably not such a good life as we have, and we have to say, or have to be grateful for. And so, yeah, this was the whole story where it all came together.
Okay.
Basically.
No, I love that part. You mentioned that it's now more focused on mental health and that you struggled with it. Would you like to talk about
Sure.
that as well?
For sure. I think it's very important to talk openly about it. Because back then, when I had issues with I think it was kind of a burnout, like with panic attacks, anxiety, sleepless nights, because like the wheel in your head,
Oh God.
it's like spinning around and around, and it doesn't stop. And I always had, it was back in, I think, 2018, 19, around, like it was before COVID hit.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like at first everything was like, yeah, building like my own business and and I came to a certain point back then where I really was in this kind of hustle mode. Like, you have to get up at 5 in the morning, like do freeletics, because you have to stay fit, because like you have to be top level energy.
Yeah.
Go for an ice bath and do this and that. Like, I was destroyed before 9 a.m. in the morning, because like when I missed something, it was like, okay, this day is like, I didn't reach my goals. Day's fucked up. And this kind of like then work until we had no kids at this point. Then work till late night, in like 1 or 2 in the night. You can sleep, when you're like old or dead.
Yeah, that's what we always say when we are younger.
And
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
so crazy. And at one point in my life, like, it was, what am I doing? It's so crazy. I was like, really, I woke up, like I had like this kind of a safe environment. I have friends, I have my own business, but it didn't felt that way. Like something was kind of broken in my soul. This is so crazy, because if you break your leg, you go to the doctor and say, look at my leg, it's broken. You can see it. But if something is broken within you, you can't tell. You can tell someone, but you can't really name it. What it's like. It felt for me, everything's gray, and like it was the shiniest, like beautiful summer day, and it was like, I don't care, like this was really crazy. And the first uh, like thing I remember that really helped was like to talk about it, because before I was always afraid, because like I did all this personal development stuff. I did like wake up in the morning to stay strong, and do like the sports stuff and meditation and blah blah blah. Like, it's crazy. And then
Then you
you
still feel like there's something wrong.
yeah, that was the point. Like, what's the point? Like, you did everything they said you should do. That all the business gurus and
Yeah.
like hustle mode culture. And then I talked openly at first, of course, with my wife. She's like amazing. She was and is always very supportive. Then I talked to my friends, and what really helped was when I really just went to therapy. And this was a big step, because I thought everyone else will say, "Ah, yeah, now he's like one of with the ones who went mad somehow." But it wasn't, because right now, or like afterwards, looking back, this kind of experience was one of the best things that happened, because now I'm on the like very settled now, and I'm feeling good, stuff like that. But now I can help others when they came to me, like, and say, I think I have the same problem you had years ago. What did you do? And I know exactly how they feel, or at least some parts of it, and I can
Yeah,
just
yeah.
listen to them, and they feel understood. And this is this is something very valuable, I think. And yeah, that was like the story of my mental health issue.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, it's never like going up and everything is great and stuff like that. So you always struggle. And that's, I think, pretty normal. And we have to we have to speak openly about it, my
Yeah, yeah.
opinion.
I agree with that. I mean, I also had the same, well, not the same, obviously, but I also had those episodes, and I
Mm.
think I spoke about it. I recently had a guest that was struggling with anxiety for years, but never really wanted to go to, well, he actually went to therapy, but it didn't work for him.
Hmm.
So now he started with meds,
Hmm.
and it made a huge change for him, and it was for me quite similar thing, because when you're younger and you think like, oh my god, I'm not going to do meds, whatever whatever the situation, I'm not taking meds, because you will be like absent, you will be
Mm.
almost like a plant. We have such a wrong perception of what it
Mm.
actually means to
Mm.
go to therapy for depression,
Mm.
anxiety, to actually be on those meds. You don't really become like a plant. You don't be like a person that has no idea what's happening.
Mm.
And those things really help. And
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you that it's so important to talk about it,
Mm.
especially in the design industry, where we are, a lot of us, work alone. We work
Mm.
from home.
So true.
Even if we have, as you have a wife, I have a husband, and a lot of people have kids. But you send kids to a kindergarten, your wife or husband goes for work, and then you stay alone for 8 hours. Even if you have clients, they are still somewhere else.
Mm.
You don't really get that human contact all the time. And that part can be so draining for a lot of people. So I absolutely love that you actually wanted to talk about it, because,
Yeah, sure.
we didn't plan, I didn't plan to
Mm.
ask you this. And I intentionally asked you if you want to talk about it, because not everyone does,
Mm.
and that's absolutely fine. But I love that you did, because I think at least someone will feel, okay, I'm not alone in this,
Yeah.
I'm not the only person that's going through this, because
Yeah.
you can have that, because social media gets like everything seems so good, so perfect, and then you get even more depressed because, like, okay, am I the only person? What's wrong with me? And that can be so hard if you don't know that there's so many other people. I mean, at least in Spain, I've read recently that there's like at least a third of young people is taking some kind of medication for depression or for sleeping or for
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, and it's like 30 something percent. That's crazy,
Mm,
but it's at the same level, it's good to know that you're not alone.
for
And that,
sure.
yeah, I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with that.
I mean, this is also something I don't know. Sometimes it feels like everything connects in some way. Because right now I'm really like, when I talk about this topic of brand design, I mean, it's obviously more if you run a business and like it's more of a B2B collaboration. But what I really love about brand design is not just like creating a logo and you're finished, but really find out what's the real identity behind it, what are the values, the vision, the mission, and stuff like that. It's not like just for businesses, but like for the independent business owners itself, or like for the people itself. Like, I think it's important to spend time thinking about who am I as a person, but also as a business person, and also who or what is my business about. And I think this is all very connected, because when you mm, come closer to this point of where you say, okay, this is actually who I am and these are my values, it's so much more easier to make decisions. It's so much more easier to like have a clear path in front of you. But the work to find this out is really, it's hard work,
It's hard
but it
work.
pays off. And so I really like this, like really the connection from all the aspects of life and business and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. When we talked some 6 months ago, um, you said you have a lot of nature around you.
Yeah.
Does that help? Especially you have a dog, so you have to take him out.
Mm.
Does that help a lot?
For me, 100%. So I have to like get out with my dog every day. Doesn't matter if it's raining, snowing, it's hot, cold, whatever. And I really use this morning walks for thinking, because that is what my mentor told me. I should do more of this kind of really thinking about certain topics, not overthinking, but just digging a little bit deeper and some kind of stuff like that. And I think this really helps to go out, fresh air, movement. It also feels sometimes more, that's like a bit controversial, but it feels sometimes more productive to go for a walk and think about the project and stuff like that than just sitting in the studio on the desk and like really in the head and I don't know what I should do.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, getting out is the best thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. That's why I asked. Because when I think back, like in all these 17 plus years, all the best decisions I've made, all the best things I figured out was outside in nature. And I had not right now because the weather is horrible in Madrid. I have no idea what's going on. We had the rainiest January like ever since
Really?
there are measurements. It's
Uh-huh.
raining like every single day, and I don't love rain.
Mm.
I moved to Madrid one part because it's sunny all the time. But this was a bad month. But even before that, to go back to nature, for me, like daily walks, I didn't have a dog and I don't have a dog at the moment, but just going outside in the nature helped me develop my business, the agency before, the type studio, even the podcast right now, even the new decisions and some plans that I'm planning to do this year. It helps so much when you are outside, like not stuck in your head, in your office, in your desk, in your computer, but just going outside. And that's why I asked, to see if there's a similarity, if that helps to you as well. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's like some kind of the condition we like went through from society. You go to your job and you sit in the office from, let's say, 9 to 5, whatever, and you're in this room. And when you're in this room, you're making money because at the end of the month, you get a paycheck, job done. Like, but you have to sit in this room. And if
yeah,
you say, "Oh, I want to go for a walk in the forest,"
yeah.
they say, "Are you crazy?
Like,
What's wrong with you?"
yeah, don't come back from that forest.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true.
Mhm.
Are you a sports fan?
A sports fan. I mean, I used to play soccer,
Okay.
and I really love like the activity of sports, like running or like working out, stuff like that. But I'm not really into football. I can't remember names. I'm not into Formula One or stuff like that. It's like sometimes I wish I would be more interested in because I could be part of the conversation when
Okay.
someone is
Okay.
talking about that. But, I'm more into like this kind of brand stuff.
Okay.
I got the nerd
Yeah.
somehow. Yeah. Why?
Hey, we all are somehow. We all
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
No worries. Like it's a huge group of nerds out here. So even the people, who have millions of fans. And I was laughing this morning. James Bernard, you heard about him. I
Uh-huh.
had him on the show recently, and he had this video about how the HBO logo is not perfectly correct.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, the guy ended up in Daily Mail, in the newspaper, in a physical newspaper, and on their portal, like because of that. And he went right into comment section. He had so much fun over there. There is a reel on his profile. I mean, it's a crazy thing. So, I mean, we are all a bit nerds, so that's absolutely fine. Yeah,
I think
that's
so
what
too.
makes us different from
Mm.
the rest of the crowd. So I love that. I asked about the sports more because right now, well, I think tonight there is opening of the Olympic Games, and snow sports are kind of Austria's national sport and
Uh,
everything. So I was going with that in mind. But when you think about those big competitions, if you see the brand, if you see the branding, do you think they could do better? I mean, not just like this Olympic Games, but general. What do you think about their branding for, I don't know, football championships or whatever? Do you think they
yeah,
are good or they can be better?
I think so. I mean, I think the Austrian ski like association, some kind,
Okay.
or I think it's called like this. I'm sorry,
Okay.
but
No
they
worries.
created they created a new branding, and it really looks um, very. When you are not, how can I say that? Think about this, the brand system. It looks like um, a crazy put together square like stuff. Like they're really,
Lines
yeah,
and
you know
yeah,
that
yeah.
branding.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. I love alpine skiing,
yeah,
so I see the A
uh
and everything. Yeah.
And the system behind it is crazy good. Because
Absolutely.
I think they got a lot of like hate, like what is
Yeah.
this, like
What's this?
if you're not really thinking about it. But if you see how you can build the different like applications from it, that's so smart and so cool. So that this is probably one of the coolest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely agree. I mean,
yeah.
it's organic. It's kind of those lines that create the letter A. They are so organic and it's so cool. So yeah, I do know the brand. And when we come to that, you said people think like it's quite bad, and a lot of people, even sometimes designers, um, we can be quite hateful people towards big brands and rebrands. And I always get reminded of this car rebrand last year or the year before that, but I never can remember the name. But everyone hated them for like, are you the new Uber or
Was it the
whatever?
Jaguar?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, their old logo was iconic. The new logo, for me, it was kind of, I would say, too basic. It had its own good and bad things. But do you think we hate too much sometimes?
I mean, this is a very tough question because I try to not hate on others, because in my opinion everybody does the best he or she can. And I mean, it's taste, right? I might don't like it, you like it because of certain things or because you know the story behind it. So yeah, I'm not so like a fan of criticizing others for what they're doing. And I mean, you know, in the design space, it's the kind of thing because we put us out there, and it's always with, we do the best we can. We put our heart and time and energy into it. And when someone comes up in the energy section, in the comment section, and just put
Yeah,
some poop
put some
into that,
shit
yeah,
here. Yeah,
then it's sometimes very hurtful.
it can be.
It can
Yeah.
be. It never, or I can't remember it happened to me. Like, I'm very grateful for that, but it might happen at some time. But I try to not be very offended about that because it's just an opinion
Yeah,
somehow
of someone.
from someone. Yeah.
No, I mean, I remember the hate for the Jaguar brand, and there is always like some um a lot of people think everything is wrong. Whatever you rebrand is wrong. There was this American brand recently. I don't know if it's for
The Cracker
food.
Barrel.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. I can never remember the names. I don't know what's wrong with me.
No,
But
that's.
yeah. So they received a lot of hate, and then recently I talked to another designer. They a couple. They had their own conference and everything, and blog where they actually um, have this kind of like art critique of other brands, but now more in a respectful way because they know what branding really involves. Because you have to take in mind that even Jaguar had the client, had the client, the board, or whatever, who said we want it this way. You know, it's not designer's fault usually, especially when we redesign big brands and stuff like that.
I
But
mean,
when go on.
rebranding is always like a pretty hard and heavy lift because you never can make it perfect for everybody. There are
Absolutely.
always like I don't know, certain parts of the community is like really connected with the old part of a design or whatever. And so this very, very hard thing, but also a very interesting thing to learn new stuff.
That's true. That's true. There's one rebrand I didn't like. I didn't hate that really, but ATP Tennis Association, they rebranded this year. And before, who doesn't know, they have like these ATP letters, quite bold and everything. And there was like the part of the P letter was like the tennis player. Yeah, with the movement and everything. It was really cool. And now they removed the tennis player. They have just some like a ball trajectory that goes. I didn't like that part, but I didn't hate it. You know, there was no hate online from me, but I didn't like that part. But when we talk about these big brands, is there a big brand you would like to work with? You would like to have a collaboration? Is there a
There are a
dream
lot of
project?
Yeah, sure. I mean, when I think about like if I do a collaboration with Patagonia, for example, or like I don't know, Tipo, like the lighters, right?
Yeah.
This would be crazy cool. There are a lot of brands out there where I think they do a great job, or I don't know, like Nike,
Yeah.
whatever. This would be crazy. But yeah,
No,
maybe.
we are putting it out there right
Yeah.
now. So, no, that's amazing. I mean, I always talk to people like this, and those opportunities come when you least expect it. So, yeah, I mean, you never know. Any day, just put your work out there, and Nike will knock
True.
on your door.
Yeah, would be awesome.
No,
But what you said, like just put it out there. You know, for the last like 9 years, I put my content out in German. Like since I'm from Austria, like it's very the Austrian accent or like the Austrian slang. And about a year ago, I decided to change it to English because I want to like just open up myself for connections outside from the German, Switzerland, and Austrian, like German speaking areas. And at first, like I really was overthinking it. And James just told me, like, don't overthink it, just do it. Like nobody gives a shit. Speak English, write in English, try it. Like just get a sense of how it makes you feel and what is the response from the outside. And at first I thought, yeah, maybe this leads to maybe nothing. And then you landed in my inbox. And then I thought like, this is like a joke, like a podcast from Madrid.
right?
Like what? This was so crazy. And then the other day I got an inquiry from a clothing brand owner from Los Angeles.
Wow.
And this was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know, like it was all in my head, like just, oh, what might others say? What might like this one say? And they probably say I'm crazy because I now speak English and now it's like this English speaking dude, like who's in the middle of nowhere in Austria. But open yourself up, put it out there. And as you said, maybe it's gonna happen. But if the thing is, if you don't try it, it won't happen.
You never know.
You never know. Yeah.
That's absolutely so true. And I mean, so many young designers have the need to have a perfect portfolio, to have it all perfect. And I mean, when I started the podcast, I recorded with my phone. Like the first season was kind of okay because I had these live conversations in the first season. We would go live on Instagram, but the video quality was just shit. Like, absolutely. It was horrible. Now when I go back and I see, oh my God, like what was I thinking, you know? And then I didn't even have a microphone. It was like just the mobile phone. Like, yeah, a tripod. I put a mobile phone and that's it. Um, but you just have to do it, and
Yeah.
and you just have to try it, because that helped me to actually talk to James Martin, like a legend. And it was so crazy because when I didn't even plan to do it as a podcast. I did when the first episode was like just to show up online. And because I never did before, I had this brand of the Type Foundry for 6 years, I think, and no one knew what I look like or whatever. I didn't put the face or me behind the brand. And then I figured, look, maybe I could do a podcast. And then I reached out to various people. And James was like one of the first who I reached to. And I don't know, like now when I think about it, what was I thinking? Like, I mean, you don't really start something and go ask James Martin to be your guest. You are just starting out. You have no listeners, no branding, no nothing. And he said yes.
He's so
Like
cool.
right away, he said yes in Instagram messages, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like I'm gonna talk to the man, and that was so amazing. So that's the message you said. Just put your work out there, because you absolutely never know where that might lead. Maybe not towards the goal you have in your head, but it might actually lead to somewhere even better.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I absolutely love that.
Yeah, and some people call it luck, but you can put yourself just out there so luck can happen. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, recently I talked about it with my husband, and how much work is necessary behind so that the luck happens. So, I mean, I do believe that there's luck in the world, and that, you can get lucky, but to get to a certain point and to be, I don't know, um, really respected and on another level, to have a successful business, to have a successful career, you really have to put the work out,
Yeah.
and you have to do the work. As a young designer, probably sleepless nights sometimes. Not too many, I hope, but I worked for, I mean, I'm not like bragging now, I see that as a bad thing, but I worked for 14, 15 hours at the
Yeah.
beginning, but you have to do it if you want to build something good, build a strong brand. As you said, you worked until 1, 2 in the morning, even though that led to a burnout. But in a way, it helped you to be where you are right now.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that to
Yeah,
like,
me neither. Don't do it
yeah,
now. Yeah,
yeah.
when I see it from this point, I wouldn't recommend it, definitely.
I mean, it's just like one step, like really every day, one step. It brings you closer to where you want to go or where you want to be in a certain amount of time.
Yeah. I love that. And actually, I mean, I usually end the conversation because it's almost an hour. I don't want to keep you for 2 more hours. Even though I could, speak about so many other things, I had so many questions
Yeah.
for you. But I end the conversation asking my guests to give an advice for younger designers. But you just said it, put your work out there, do the thing, and things will, settle down as they
Yeah.
should, and as it's planned. But is there anything else you would like to add to young designers? Or
Yeah, I mean, it's the same question that my mentor is asking me all the time. Like, it's for what do you want to be known for in 5 years? Like, really sit down write it down. I mean, I have like a whole notebook where
Oh, wow.
I really just thought about this question. I mean, like there are, you write it down, you go this direction, then the idea the idea is starting to flow. And this is also that you learn yourself in a better way, like who you really are. I mean, that's the topic we had before. Like, just figure out your own identity and don't rely so much on the outside and compare with other people, or like just think what others might think about you. It's just about what you are feeling about it and how does it make you feel, and yeah, what's basically where you want to go and what
Yeah.
do you want to be known for. Yeah,
That's a good one. That's a really good one. I'm glad I asked you, even though I said you answered it, I'm glad I asked this because that's a really good one.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for the conversation. I really had a really, really good time. I feel
Me
there's so
too.
much more to talk about, and I hope I will have you again, in a I don't know, year to see
Yeah,
where it's all going. I would love
for
that.
sure. I would love that too.
Yeah,
Thank you so
definitely.
much, Ellen. Really, it was a blast to talk to you, and congratulations to your
Oh,
podcast and your
thank you.
brand you're building around it. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for listening. And we'll definitely be talking to each other a lot more in the future.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Bye bye, everyone.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Real stories with bold creatives.